Hi, Ina. I'm so happy and excited for us to have a chat at Elevate by Daria. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of your podcast. We seem to be on a very similar mission to elevate the world, to raise up the vibes in this world.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for your time. I would love to start our conversation today with um, you talking a little bit about your ventures and what you do as a businesswoman here in Toronto.
Oh, so many things. Well, I started out as a model and an actress in the film and fashion industries. And 30 years later, because I got in front of the camera when I was 13, I'm in my 40s now. 30 years later, I have refined those skills and I'm using them to bring more beauty into this world via image consulting and styling, photo shoots, filmmaking, creative producing. I have a number of projects that I'm developing and have developed over the years, all in the fashion space or wellness space. Yeah.
So you're on a mission to support, empower, elevate people around
That's
us.
right, via beauty specifically, beauty and joy and raising frequency and vibration.
Why do you
Yeah.
think this is important? Why do you think it's important to be stylish? Why it is important to have your own personal brand?
I just think it is a part of who we are. It is a connection to our deepest, truest self. It's a form of creativity, and when we're children, we're playful, we're creative, and somehow along the way, we forget to be playful and creative, and we get very serious. So in our adult life, this is an opportunity to play. We get dressed every single day. We've got a closet full of clothing. Why not? Why not elevate our life with style and just have fun and bring joy to others? Because what I love about fashion is that, or humanity, is that we have our senses, our five senses, and our sense of sight is the most dominant out of all those senses, because the visual cortex in the brain takes up the largest segment, and so we take in visual cues very quickly, and we generate really strong emotions and reactions to what we're seeing. So if we add beauty into this world, we are elevating others, not just ourselves, but others. So it affects us on so many different levels, and that's why I love it, and that's why I do what I do.
And look at you, you look amazing today.
Thank you, so do you.
Thank you for making yourself very beautiful. Um, so how does it work? So for example, if I want your advice, expertise advice, I am, let's say, I'm struggling with my personal brand. How do I look? When I go to the meetings, when I do podcasts, when I do whatever I do, where your brand can support the young entrepreneurs or business owners with your services?
That's a great question. Well, people can work with me in a number of different ways. I have hourly consultations. I have created something called My Style Journey Guide. I actually brought it. Here it
Ooh.
is.
Oh, this is so cute. Can I see?
Yeah, of course. It's an audio-visual fashion journal, and the reason it's called My Style Journey Guide is that it takes you on a journey of self-discovery. So what I've created are 12 archetypes. I feel like each one of us, is a certain archetype. We're a combination of a couple of archetypes, but there's one dominant archetype. And this was inspired by my work as an actress, because when we create a character, that character has certain needs, certain values, certain desires, and specifically values. So what we value shows through in the way we dress. And so I created that, and it's also an opportunity for people to brush up on their fashion vocabulary, because I think we don't talk about fashion enough. When there's conversations to be had about fashion, it's usually a select few that are within the industry, but I want to bring that to the masses, to regular people, because we all get dressed. And so if we are empowered with fashion vocabulary, styling techniques, fashion history, fashion terms, then we can go out into the world confidently and say, these are the clothing details that I like. I like a pump heel. I love a Chelsea boot. Like there's so many different fashion terms. So when we can identify what we like, then we are empowered, because then we also know what we don't like. So so that is the easiest way and the most effective way to discover your personal style with our image consulting company. Is just picking up this journal. I'm in the middle of creating the second edition right now. I've teamed up with a really talented graphic designer that's elevating it to the next level for me. And the last way to work with me is a 4-week business in style course. And this is a virtual course. Anyone in the world can do it with me. I do a consultation call in the beginning to figure out what their needs are. And then we go through content over 4 weeks, and then we culminate that with another phone call. And there we discover just their physique, their likes and dislikes, what their business is, really becoming clear on what they want to say in this world, what they want to achieve, their goals, who they're serving, who their customers are, because part of dressing as a business owner is recognizing what kind of effect you want to have on your audience. And your audience as a business owner are your customers. And how do you want to make your customers feel? And depending on what business you're in, one business owner might have one thing that they want their customers to feel, and another one something else. So so that's in a nutshell what I do, and how I offer help to people.
And the name of the brand is?
Jewel Branding Studios.
Jewel Branding
Yeah.
Studios. And I really like how you said it's about what's the perception of the customers about you, right? Like how you look, what kind of feeling you want to persuade them to have about your brand. And I think it is very important to think not like how you feel, but how the people will feel about your styling, about your. I am not really a fashionista, but I think
I wouldn't be able to tell. You look amazing. I love your choice of wardrobe.
So yeah, I think it's very important. Whatever we do, thinking about the customers first, thinking about who are the people we are working with, what their needs are, how they feel about the brand, and what we want them to feel about us. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah. I like to also think that it's a fine balance, because we also want to feel good with what we're wearing. So yeah, like
I guess both ways.
both ways. Yeah. Like for instance, for myself, I love to fancy myself a fashion oracle. Like I love Greek mythology. I love all the Greek goddesses. Like there's so much power to those stories. And so a lot of things that I'm drawn to, I'll have like a Grecian drape to them, or like longer dresses. But at the same time, I also love to explore my tough side. And that's why a lot of the time I gravitate to black colors. I love to feel strong and powerful and dominant. So I love, like this dress today that I wore, I love the juxtaposition of this Grecian soft kind of goddess vibe with the neckline, but also this dark, grounded, dominant energy. And that's why I love clothing so much, is because you can play with all these details and combine different vibes to create a completely new look or a new feeling on yourself. So yeah, and so that's why when I work with my clients, it's like, who are you? Who are you, like deep inside? What do you want to say to this world? What energy do you resonate with? Are you more of a romantic, or are you more of like a rebel? Are you a sage, or are you a joker? Do you want to make this people around you laugh and just play? So then the one who's the joker, the comic, is going to wear bright pops of color and bags that look like toys and funky sunglasses. Like they just want to brighten this world. So it's figuring out like what archetype am I, and how do I, going back to what I was saying, how do I want to make people feel? Do I want to make them laugh? Do I want them to feel inspired, joyful, regal. Like there's, yeah, so many ways to play.
Interesting. I never thought about like so deep, uh, what all of this means that you can persuade with colors or with
Yeah.
different shapes or with different. So, for example, for the person who is new to fashion, would love to be fashionable and to have my own personal style, where do I start? What do I do? Do I start with this?
Yes, absolutely.
Style
Start with
journey.
that, My
Okay.
Style Journey Guide. And what I offer, the advice that I offer in the My Style Journey Guide, because it's a fashion journal that you explore, but there's also audio that comes with it. So there are little lessons that you listen to as you explore each outfit, and each outfit in there is labeled. So that's how you learn the fashion terms. One of the best ways is to do a closet cleanse, a closet assessment, and look at the things that you're not wearing and figure out why you're not wearing them. What is it about that piece of clothing that just doesn't feel right? Like we intuitively know when we put something on that feels amazing and it's just right in all different aspects, we just know it, we just feel it. There's certain, based on, we're also unique and different and beautiful in our own way, and there's certain clothing features that might suit one person better than another person. So it's just knowing your physical build, knowing what your body type is, your face structure, what are certain details of clothing that are going to enhance your unique beauty and ones that are going to pull away from it. So it's knowing yourself deep down and embracing who you are and just loving every little part of you and highlighting it beautifully with clothing.
Interesting. I'm wondering about, like how people say that fashion is like somewhere in Europe, like France, Italy. Canada is completely different world for me, at least, like coming with a background from Europe. I was really amazed when I came here, like with the fashion people have. I was wondering, like, about your perspective. You living here in Toronto, what do you think? Have you seen any differences? And what's your opinion about Toronto fashion and Canada's fashion?
Well, the European countries have been around for a very long time. They have a rich fashion history, incredible museums, lots of inspiration to go from, a lot of capitals. Canada doesn't have a fashion capital. And sadly, a lot of designers that do go to school here and come up here, they end up leaving. So we don't really have a support system for local Canadian designers like other countries do. So it's, yeah, I don't.
What should we do? Like, do you think there is a one solution to bring more fashion here to incentivize those people to stay here and build that culture and make Canada great again, but make Canada more
Yeah,
fashionable?
I love that question. That is such a beautiful question. I honestly think it starts with the children and what we teach them early on. And that's why I'm so passionate about like getting My Style Journey Guide out there and into schools once the new edition is ready. Because it starts at home. It starts by example. And there's also benefits to knowing the skill of getting dressed because the statistics out there are we only use 15% of our closet 85% of the time. I don't know if you know the KonMari method. She's this Japanese lady, she's really famous. She has a Netflix series, and she did a show about transforming people's lives. She basically goes into their home and cleanses their home and organizes them. She's an organization queen. She's got the KonMari method. And the first thing she does is she goes into people's closets. And it's incredible how stuffed they are to the brim. And when we have too much choice, it's overwhelming, it's
Yeah.
confusing, it's chaotic. So she cleanses the closet for them. And so going back to the statistic, we only use 15% of the clothing in our closet 85% of the time. So if that's and then billions of pounds of clothing end up in the landfill each year, which means that we're buying clothing and not using it. So the question is, why are we not using it? Why are we not wearing it? Why are we not having an intimate relationship with the clothing in our closet? And for me, I believe it's just the lack of fashion education, lack of knowledge exactly how style works, basic art principles, fabric selection. I go over a lot of that in the Style Journey Guide. So yeah, to answer your question, it's getting fashion education just into schools in like basic
Some knowledge, yeah.
knowledge. Yeah.
And it's the same about, finance. You know how I think about
Yeah.
how finance and numbers should be taught way earlier, not like specifically mathematics and geometry, but like how do we manage our budgets and how do we
Yeah.
manage the look and the finance. I think it's very important and
Oh,
it should
for
be
sure.
more into the system.
Yeah, it's funny you touch upon that because if we're only using 15% of our closet 85% of the time and billions of pounds of clothing ends up in the landfill each year, that's money in the landfill each year.
Yeah.
We've purchased that clothing, we paid good money for it, and now it's in the landfill. So it's all interconnected. It's all, we're in an ecosystem, and our pocketbook, our finances are affected by our style choices and vice versa.
Yeah. Do you have any funny stories of your clients? Not funny, like your most memorable story of the clients you ever had for assessing their fashion, assessing their branding, assessing their clothes style? Anything you can share?
Funny.
Maybe not funny, like the most memorable that you're like, wow, I did, like I helped this person. It was so great, like, and such a change you saw.
Well, one client of mine is a composer, and so when I work with my clients on the 4-week business and style course, we isolate their goals, and we looked at her goals as a composer, her business goals, and the type of films that she wants to work on. And she loves sci-fi, and she loves Blade Runners is one of her most favorite films. And so I really enjoyed working with her and getting to figure out what the details are that can read or express that sci-fi composer vibe of her personality. And what we decided on is that we wanted to add more silvers and ground her look in a silver shoe, like make her looks very futuristic and mostly black, or like with a little iridescence to them. So I really enjoyed putting her look together, and we worked virtually because she's out in LA. So then she'd send me pictures of her wardrobe, and I'd send her links to the pieces to consider purchasing. And she's an up-and-coming composer, so a lot of my not all my clients have a huge budget, and so we work with people with different budgets. If they can't afford designer labels, we look at vintage, we look at like basic bargain brands, but there's classic pieces that can create a capsule wardrobe and act together and play together really well. So you really don't need a lot, you just need a little creativity. And you really need to know, again, what you want to say to this world. So with working with her, yeah, we isolated the signature boot because I'm all about figuring out what your signature style is, the one that's going to get you respect, recognition, and is going to get you remembered. It's, as a business owner, showing up consistently in that look because then people remember you. And it's associated with like, she's the composer that works on sci-fi films, and it kind of locks in. Silver shoe, kind of iridescent fabrics, like it all tells a story. An outfit tells a story, and if you're a business person, you can utilize clothing to tell the story of your business. So that's one client. I also am a co-founder of a online magic school that I founded 10 years ago with the father of my children. And he has extended my services out to his community of magicians who watch these magic videos. And so I've had magician clients come in to work with me. And some of them want to be international men of mystery. And so we try to figure out what that clothing is that has them being mysterious and international because they speak many languages. And then someone is the nice guy of magic. And so we're like, well, what are certain pieces that are gonna make you look nice and approachable and friendly? So
thank you for sharing
Yeah.
those stories. You know, like for me as a person who works in business in consulting, and then I do the interviews and podcasts. Working with magicians and working with someone who is like very creative is something I've never experienced, and I think it's like very interesting to work with those personalities, what kind of thoughts they have, what kind of clothes they wear, and all of that. So thank you for sharing. If you were to assess me right now, well, like let's say I would love to have this brand. Do I say it right? Like branding.
Branding
the
via
clothes style,
clothing.
yes.
Yeah.
As a person who is a story maker, a person who is an interviewer, the person who is there to create a great story, to ask great questions, and to help community and everyone to be inspired, to be motivated. Like one piece of advice. What can I do?
Oh.
I mean, I know you don't really know a lot about me, but
Yeah.
but
Well, so with Elevate, you're inspiring, is it business owners or anyone? Like, what is your target audience, first of all? Like, who do you want to mainly inspire?
So this year, we are planning to do more business-oriented guests in the room. Would love to showcase and share business ideas, business creations, and share some challenges, some learnings to inspire those out there to build their own companies or to build their ideas and go for it. You know, like just kind of business environment, business people sharing the ideas with others who wants to start something of their own.
So, and these are live events. This is, you'd be speaking and people would be taking in your outfit from head to toe. This is not like just
Yeah.
on the camera. Okay. So, when it comes to a business setting, there's certain clothing details that cue business. So obviously a blazer, a button-up shirt, a little black dress, clean and simple. So what I always advise is to have the clothing tell a story, but not be so dramatic and attention grabbing that it draws away attention from your eyes and your smile and your face. So because there's certain clothing that's interesting. It's artistic, but then if it's too fussy and it's got too much interesting detail, then the attention goes on to the detail, and then we lose this. We lose the communication. So you're a storyteller. So it's finding that perfect balance between a piece that speaks of leadership, because you're leading the event, speaking of business, but also has that community lightness, positivity. So then you can turn to color. Color is a very powerful tool. Like I was mentioning earlier, like black is powerful, dominant, and mysterious. White is innocent, pure, angelic. Yellow is like sunshine, it's bright and optimistic. So there's golds. So it's figuring out what your signature color is that people will recognize you by, and then utilizing that color and finding a piece of clothing that cues business So it's finding those cues and putting them together. And then also fabric plays a huge role. There's certain, every fabric also cues a feeling in our viewer, and it comes with a symbolism. So when we think sequin, it's sparkly, it's joyful, it's festive. When we think denim, it's very girl next door, very casual. Tweed reads very British upper class, like sophistication. And leather or pleather, anything with like a shine reads like tough and exotic. So it's figuring out which fabric. So fabric, color, type of piece of clothing, whether it's a blazer or a button-up shirt. So yeah,
Lots of homework.
it's a lot of details, but once you know what you're looking for, the magic, like I'm all about manifestation. I talk about it a lot on my podcast. Once you know,
Yeah.
you start seeing them. It's kind of like there's a theory, like the red car theory, I think it's called. When you think of a red car, suddenly you're driving on the street and you see a red car, you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
So the same thing with clothing. Once you figure out what you like, what looks good on you, what you want to wear, that aligns with your business and your goals and the message, boom, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, how I like to see it is seeing the final goal or what you envision yourself to be, and then like going backwards to the steps you need to take. The same with probably.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now I would love to hear and ask you kind of final questions in terms of you having a career, right? Like you have experience obviously, and now we have a conversation. You're very knowledgeable, I understand, and like just the conversation is very interesting. I'm learning a lot, and now I'm thinking, okay, I need to think about like how do I look, how do I showcase myself, right? And any learnings through your journey that you can share, like you think that the business entrepreneurs, woman, whoever is just starting, you can share those learnings or give advice to people?
Advice. I mean, there's no such thing as failure. That was the biggest lesson for me, is that you just show up generously, and every experience is a lesson. It just makes you grow stronger, and there's always something that comes out of it, even if it's not what you expect it to be. Aligning with people who are hard workers and passionate and understand your vision, that has been huge for me. Just people who are hungry to make beautiful content and tell stories. You can't do it alone. It's got to be a team effort. So it's quite special finding those people that want to tell the story with you, and you have that respect for each other, because that can move mountains. Yeah.
Thank you for those advice. And any challenges or setbacks you faced during your career that you thought, oh, I wish I did something different, but I guess now your advice was every failure is opportunity to learn, an opportunity to like just see that experience and move forward. Anything that was challenging for you and you thought, oh, like maybe I should have done it a little bit different, or what is the hardest thing to have a business, to be a woman in business? Let's say we are now in Toronto, so in Toronto.
Yeah. Well, I would say that I wouldn't have done anything different. I would just say that the hardest part was what set me back, and I don't regret it at all, was becoming a mother. I had a career going, and then that stopped the career in its tracks, and I don't regret it. And what came out of it is that I have two beautiful children, and I've grown so much as a human being. When you become a mother, there's responsibilities and there's beautiful challenges and just makes you grow up. And so there was a period of time, especially when my kids were young, where it was difficult to have a career and to succeed, like I guess you'd say in how people describe success. But it's made me so strong and so resilient and so driven. And now that my kids are a little bit older and it's a little bit easier because those formative years are so tough, especially when you don't have a support system close by, because at the time I was living in LA and my family is here in Toronto. Now that resilience I'm taking and that strength I'm taking and utilizing in everything that I do. So it's hard being a working mom.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And it's just, finding that support system and appreciating it for what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds very scary. I don't have children, but like at some point I would love to have. But it's just how busy I am right now already with everything that is going on. I'm thinking, how do I adjust? But I guess I will have to just do it. It just comes and goes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. And last final question I usually ask the guests for Elevate by Daria is any advice for people who are still searching for their passion, who are still in the search for their dream job, dream business, dream hobby, or whatever they're searching for? Any advice to finding that passion?
Figure out what brings them joy, what they would wake up and do for free without even having to get paid. And also looking at the hardest thing that has ever happened to them and seeing how they can use the lessons they've learned from that hardship to help others. The things that were incredibly difficult for me that I've overcome, I'm so much more passionate to guide others to find their way, because I've done it and I know how hard it was, and now I try to guide others. So so isolate that hardship, embrace it, and see how you can help others. Life's journey. You just keep going and keep on adjusting and keep on fixing, and eventually you get to where you need to go.
That's the beauty of life, I think, like not being perfect straight away and not straight away doing the live show, but actually like doing those steps and learning and meeting people and implementing those ideas, and then finally it will grow.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the entrepreneurial journey. We start with what we know and we gather information, and then we upgrade to a bicycle and then a motorcycle and then maybe a jet.
Yeah.
And get around. You get around faster. I think that we're just pedaling, we're just starting. We're just pedaling that tricycle, and then eventually you work, and you're on that jet.
Yeah, and then the rocket, space,
Yes,
spaceship.
even further, exactly.
Yeah. Now is Elon Musk traveling to Mars, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was such a wonderful conversation. Thank you
Yeah.
again for inviting me to be a part of your podcast. I had a wonderful time with you.
Thank you, Inna.
Yeah, good luck with everything.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.